everybody, I'm here with a monthly favorites video for the month of February. So every month I say, oh, I didn't really buy anything. And I didn't really buy anything. I bought like a couple of things. I don't have like tons of spending money. I'm not one of those YouTubers that's like, hey, here's my big haul. I just don't have big hauls. That's just not what it is. But what this is, some of this stuff is old, some is new, but they are just my favorites for the month. I'm going to start with decks and books, and then go to some of the other things. So if you're just interested in the decks and books, you can switch off after that. All right, so let's go to decks. Okay, so I've been working with the Line Strider Tarot this month, and it's been a really lovely experience. I've kind of put this on the shelf for, I'm not sure if I even used it last year. So reconnecting with this was really, really nice. And it was one of those decks that I saw online and I didn't really care for. And then I saw it in the shop and it kept kind of calling me, and I'm really glad that I got it because I actually really do quite love this deck. It's very watercolory. So there, the Page of Pentacles. I think it's really beautiful though. It's kind of nice, all the white space and the beautiful soft colors. And there's lots of animals here, but it's not exclusively animals. There are people as well. So it's just like just a lovely deck. And I really like this one for February because unlike those of you in, warmer parts of the world where spring is starting, it is the dead of winter here. But it's nice to have that white with that little pop of color. Just really kind of, I don't know, it just kind of reminds me that yes, spring is eventually on its way, even if it doesn't feel like it at this moment. So I really love this deck. And I love the use of the watercolors too. I think this is a very unique deck. I know the artist also made the other Kintaro. I haven't really looked into that one too much. I haven't seen that one as much as this one. See, there are people in there. But I think it really captures the essence of each card, and the use of the colors and things is really lovely. Oh, that's the Hermit. There we go. It's just a really lovely February deck to work with. The other one that I picked up to work with in February, that had been on my shelf for a couple of years and I hadn't done too much work with, is The Gospel of Aradia by Stacey DeMarco, based on the legend of Aradia in Italian witchcraft. And this is just a beautiful deck. It's not a very thick deck. I think there's only 36 cards in here, but the images are just stunning. Really, really beautiful. I mean, he's such a great artist. And there's the cover. Oh. It's a very feminine spring kind of deck. Lots of flowers. Also does have some masculine cards though, so it is a bit of a balance. It's very witchy. It just says like witchy vibes to me. I just love it. The juicy colors. I think it contrasts really well with the Line Strider with the white space. These lovely kind of juicy colors that you have here. The Luna is just beautiful. It's a lovely, lovely deck to work with, so I'm really glad I reconnected with that. As for books this month, I'm going to talk about them in depth a little bit more on the Witch's Bookshelf, but one book that I picked up that I've had for a while, and sometimes I'll just feel the urge to reread a book, is Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. I love this book. Yes, it's more of a new age type book, but I don't think it's like too fluffy, and it's just really reminding you that your strength is in being who you are as an individual and sharing your light with the world, which I think is a wonderful message. And I think the essence of like what many of us are trying to get across to people. So I really love this book. And I think it's like a really well-designed book too. So it has these little page chapters. Sometimes there's a page with like this on it or a poem. It's a very contemporary kind of book, and I quite like it. Next, in the Coven, we have a book club in the Coven. Chapter by chapter, we're doing The Crooked Path, which is a new book that came out. It's an introduction to traditional witchcraft by, just says Keldon. I guess that's his name. So Not sure if that's the last name or first name. Doesn't matter. Either way. It's interesting and informative book. I don't know a ton about traditional witchcraft, but I am learning, and I find this, like, it's not a super big read, but he packs a lot of information into here, and so I'm really enjoying learning about it. And when I finish, I'll talk a little bit more about what I think of this book. And then in the Wild Witch Circle, the open Facebook group, we're doing The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman, which is a fiction book. This is the prequel to Practical Magic. So I love this book. I have not, I've been reading a lot of nonfiction for a long time, so I'm really trying to get back into fiction stuff. And this is just a lovely, well-written, fun, engaging, really poetic book, and I've really been enjoying it. Plus, look at all the glitter. Ooh, looks great. All right. Then for non-witchy type stuff, I did get a couple of t-shirts. I will go get them. So I don't know if this store exists in the States or anywhere else. It's called Stitches. It's here in Canada, and it's just like a generic, like, it's got like t-shirts and sweaters and jeans and whatever else. But they had for sale, I think it was like 2 for $12 or some ridiculously low price. They had all these graphic t-shirts with all these kind of like 80s imagery on them, because I guess the 80s is popular now. And so the thing I love about these is they're so soft. I hate it when you buy a t-shirt and you like the print on it, but then the fabric's kind of scratchy. But these are lovely. I got myself a old school Def Leppard t-shirt, nice and old school. And then I got an AC/DC one. The only thing I don't like about this is it has pink on it, like pinky purple. I don't know, not really my thing, but it is AC/DC, which I love. And it also is, again, it's like a super soft. I love it. So I did get those, and I really love those. Also, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, and 3 podcasts that I would totally recommend are the Astrology podcast. I think I've talked about this one before. Now, it is pretty advanced. It's by a guy named Chris Brennan, who is amazing. He is like the guru of traditional Hellenistic astrology. But if you're into astrology and you want to learn more, and especially if you're past the beginner books, you want to learn more stuff, it's just an excellent podcast. Go check it out. And it's just called the Astrology Podcast. Some of the subjects you may be like, what are they talking about? But I promise you, if you keep listening, you'll learn so much. It is excellent. There's also another one I've been listening to. Is called The Witch Wave. It's by Pam Grossman. She wrote, what's the name? It's like a new book that came out. Something about witchcraft. Someone will put in the links, I'm sure, in the comments below what it is. But anyway, she interviews all sorts of wonderful, amazing people, artists, witchy artists, and all sorts of like writers and witchy people. And it's just a great podcast. And they also take calls and letters from people. It's a great witchy podcast if you're looking for a witchy podcast. And then I also listen to the Paranormal podcast, which has been going for years and years. And it's not just about ghosts. This guy interviews people about UFOs and cryptids and, and ghosts and stuff too. And he talks to all sorts of people. If you love all the ghosty, spooky kind of shows, he talks to a lot of the people that are on these kind of shows. So very interesting podcast. Some people who are on there, I'm like, I don't really know, if I'm into what they're talking about, but there's a lot of just really interesting things and people on there, and you learn so much. So those are the 3 podcasts I really recommend people go and check out there. So let me know what your favorites are for the month of February. Do you like any of these books and decks? Do you listen to any of those podcasts? Let me know. And I just remember the name of Pam Grossman's book. It's Waking the Witch. That's it. So yes, it was just all of a sudden, bing, it went into my head. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next weekend as always. And I hope you had a wonderful month, and I hope that next month is wonderful too. And stay wild, my friends.